The best part about what's happening with MJF is literally the fact that nobody actually knows. And I think MJF keeping kayfabe alive, you don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake. I mean, essentially is the best part about MJF. Not only is he incredibly talented, but you're always scratching your head trying to wonder what happens next. Now, there's quite a few topics we're going to talk about today, but I want to kick things off about MJF not leaving AEW. Now, one of the things that was very interesting to me is obviously there is a lot of talk about MJF and his contract situation in 2024, and he remains adamant that he has not signed an extension with AEW. Matt Hardy, on the other hand, recently on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy podcast, he gave his thoughts on MJF wrestling Jon Moxley, and very interestingly enough, despite what MJF says on TV and in interviews, Matt Hardy actually believes that MJF will stick around for the company for a very long time. He says it's very interesting, especially when the pay-per-view is located in Newark, not too far from his home base. He has been doing great work. He's an extremely talented young man, and he is a guy that is going to be the future of AEW for a long time. Even as much as he jokes around, my contract is coming up and they want me up north, brother, I think he is going to be the face of AEW for a very long time. Now, this is very interesting because there's been a lot of talk about as to whether or not WWE would reportedly be interested in bringing in MJF. I think that's a freaking no-brainer whatsoever. But of course, a lot of people are really wondering what is AEW's situation here. And obviously, there's a lot of theories as to whether or not MJF has actually re-signed with the company. Has he not re-signed with the company? What is the MJF situation looking like? Now, I do believe no matter what anybody says, whether it's Tony Khan, Triple H, MJF, or whatever the case may be, I think in today's climate, you have to listen to all offers on the table. I don't think it would ever make sense to truly sign an extension in today's world of wrestling, because if you're in the middle of your contract and you're signing an extension without hearing potential other offers, I just think you could be missing out on so much money, right? So that is one of the reasons why I don't know if MJF has necessarily signed an extension in this situation. But I do want to make it very clear in this situation that with a lot of talent, such as Matt Hardy, a very prominent name, obviously running his own podcast, for this guy to say, look, I think, he is going to be the face of AEW for a very long time. If people already have this belief, then it's going to be very interesting to see what actually happens with MJF, because I think MJF will probably be the most valuable free agent if his contract does truly end in January 2024. And if his contract is over and he does field offers, I just don't have the brain cells in my head to comprehend why WWE would not offer a multi-million-dollar contract. Statistically speaking, MJF brings in the most viewers for AEW. He seems to be doing very well for AEW, and I've already been very clear that MJF is one of the sole reasons why I even care about AEW, which this also means if WWE is willing to offer a shit ton of money, then for a simple fact that Tony Khan would have to be doing the same. There is this belief that MJF is going to stay put in AEW. And this belief that says he's not going to go to WWE because he has a chance to be the face of AEW is great. But I also want to make it very clear, if MJF is in a situation where he actually if he has the opportunity to leave and he doesn't actually look at the offers, that could be a massive mistake. And that's just the way it is. I don't care about creative booking or anything like that. I'm specifically talking off of value. And I think both companies have the monetary possessions to make that happen. CM Punk and Colt Cabana, obviously a very interesting situation has happened throughout the last year. Throughout the last few years, really. What's really interesting, though, is there's a lot of backstage talk about Colt Cabana and CM Punk. And Dave Meltzer was talking about this. He said that Colt Cabana wrestling Chris Jericho actually made things worse between CM Punk and AEW. And Punk still remains adamant to this day that he had nothing to do with Cabana being gone from television. The reason why this is so intriguing, though, is because talent backstage have reportedly been talking about this, and they actually feel differently about the situation versus what CM Punk has said. So the reality is this. We don't know what's happening with CM Punk and AEW. I mean, technically, he's still under contract, and technically, they haven't bought out his contract. We also know that he's injured as well. But this idea that there are some backstage issues because of this, tells me Tony Khan has to fix the backstage environment. There is no reason why there should be reports about gossip and drama from behind the scenes in regards to a situation that has nothing to do with this talent, right? Colt Cabana and CM Punk was an issue that started way before AEW. Clearly, them both being in AEW is something that people are talking about. I don't see how CM Punk and Colt Cabana's issue actually interferes with anybody else backstage, but the fact that it remains a topic of discussion is absolutely mind-boggling to me. This company and the talent in this company need to focus on putting out the best possible product ever, okay? You're going into full gear. The fact that Colt Cabana and CM Punk's business is being talked about backstage is mind-boggling to me. It doesn't make sense. It's not something I understand. And truth be told, this is one of those situations where I think if you're AEW, you gotta quit that shit out, dude. You gotta cut it. You gotta stop that from happening, because if it continues to happen, and trust me when I say this, if it continues to happen the way it's been happening, then there's always going to be backstage issues in this company. And you want to try to minimize that as much as possible. It's like any other job. You want to go to work, clock in, clock out, get paid, and call it a day. But the fact that these backstage issues remain is absolutely mind-boggling to me. Now, with that being said, I want to turn our attention to Adam Cole. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because I do honestly feel really bad for what is happening here. There is a lot of concern right now for Adam Cole in AEW. And obviously, you can only go off the reports. You can only go off of what people are talking about when it comes to Adam Cole. But Dave Meltzer had recently talked about Adam Cole and said that a number of people backstage have brought up that they are very concerned for him. Obviously, Adam Cole has not returned to AEW due to his concussion issue. And obviously, we know that concussions are unpredictable, and we don't really... There's still a lot of studies and science and research that is being done here. But I think the idea that Adam Cole not returning yet, obviously it is a concern for a lot of people. When will Adam Cole return to AEW? I don't want to speculate on returns. The way I look at it with things like this is, hey, go get healthy, get better. Don't return early, just for the sake of returning early. Adam Cole is great. I think, one thing about AEW that is really good too is they've given him time. They're looking at this like it's a concern for them. But unfortunately, we're still in the same spot where we don't really have any idea when or where Adam Cole will return. With that being said, though, I do want to see Adam Cole get healthy first, and then obviously, everything else comes after. But the AEW product needs Adam Cole. It's pretty obvious when you're watching television, so that is just something I want people to keep in mind. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I appreciate you all for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.